Yeah, I think that was a good adjustment, was to add more workers.
Yeah, speak of that
agree,
first couple minutes of the game where you just make a depot or something, or Protoss makes
you're sitting there standing making boxes waiting for your worker to come.
Yeah.
I would like to add though about the StarCraft 2 units is that I'm kind of glad that there aren't a whole lot of repeats from StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
I like that units are changing. And a lot of people are like, you know, they're nostalgic about certain units, like the Reaver, for example. And I guess Colossus is kind of the replacement for the Reaver.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
It's kind of the replacement. Well, I like that. Like, the parameters need to change on all this stuff. We can't have it be too similar to StarCraft, so that, you know, all our StarCraft knowledge, it can be helpful for StarCraft 2, but it can't be, like, directly applied. We can't just jump into StarCraft 2 being an expert at the game. So with all these new units and all these different abilities and stuff, it's going to take figuring out again, and all these strategies, they'll be new. And that's the good side to having new units and getting rid of the old units. So if you're nostalgic about the old units, you should consider that. I think it'll be better in the long run.
Alright, NonY, you're a Protoss player in StarCraft 1. What's your plans for StarCraft 2 race-wise?
StarCraft 2, probably play all 3 races. And see, you know, because things are going to change, you know, like, I like the Protoss matchups for StarCraft 1, and, you know, sometimes I've thought about switching race, and I'm, like, looking at the matchups, TVZ, TVT, TVP, and it's like, I like the Protoss things that you can do, and then the Terran things, what these matchups are really about, is slightly different, and I don't know if that's attractive to me. And for StarCraft 2, who knows, you know, what's attracted to me about Protoss in StarCraft 1 might not be the same in StarCraft 2. I might actually like Terran or Zerg. There's really no way for them to actually keep that the same. It's going to be different for everyone. So I'm going to keep an open mind and probably play all 3 races and then see what each matchup is about, and just pick the race where the matchups are they really appeal to me the most.
Alright, and Tasteless, what about you?
I think I'm going to have to, for my job, because I'll probably be doing, well, I know I'll be doing casting for StarCraft 2. I need to know all the races, because, you know, you've had this experience too as a caster that, like, you're probably way more comfortable talking about a Terran versus Terran than, you know, a Protoss versus Protoss. And the same for me, like, I'm way more comfortable doing Protoss versus Protoss. If I have to do like a Terran versus Terran, sometimes I don't feel completely confident in what I'm saying. So for me, I need to have a certain degree of knowledge in all the matchups. I don't know what race I'm going to play, but I think I'm going to look at how the metagame works, because there's really 3 types of metagames in StarCraft. There's like the mirror matchup, then there's the one where you have to be the aggressor and the other player has to defend, like Terran versus Zerg. You have to push out, or Terran versus Protoss. And then there's the matchups where you have to be the defender and you have to wait for the other player to attack. And that's, I think, where I'm most comfortable playing from. Like, I really enjoy playing Zerg versus Protoss, even though I'm a Protoss player. And I really enjoy Protoss versus Terran. So I might look at which race functions most like that. Like in StarCraft 1, it's Zerg, but I'm still a lot better with Protoss. I still prefer Protoss. But I think from the meta matchups, maybe that's how I'll decide. But I don't know yet. I really don't know.
Well, I'm going to play Terran because I hate myself.
He's going to be angry for the rest of your life.
I want to be angry for the rest of my life. I wouldn't feel right if I was happy and winning a lot of tournaments.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt your interview for a second. If you guys didn't notice, we're practically a Pure Ponage advertisement right here. We got free shirts from the Pure Ponage guys. So thought we'd point that out. Yeah.
For you.
Otherwise, some nerd's going to do it and think that we all didn't know we had shirts on, so I had to go out there.
We didn't actually know that each other would be wearing these shirts today.
Yeah, they sent us a bunch of shirts. It wasn't like it was all on our calendar or anything like that.
Yeah, we didn't call each other up and say, you know what, hey guys, I have this awesome idea. Let's all dress the same and make a video.
Yeah, let's all wear black Pure Ponage shirts.
Yeah, I did that.
Thank you, Ani. Alright.
Ask me another question.
You want another question?
I want another question.
Alright, I got another question for you. Now, let's not get too deep into this right now. But let's talk for a moment about MBS and Automine. Tasteless, what are your thoughts here? Wait. I know that you have a lot to say. You fish around on the forums a lot. I'm going to let NonY speak before.
I'd rather have Nick.
Wow, this is like a manner battle.
I want the second word.
I I see why they're putting MBS and auto mining in the game so far. Personally, I don't really like it. But it's like this. I just feel like for the game to be competitive, I think we should keep the skill ceiling high, and I think Blizzard's doing a good job of, for instance, adding units like a Stalker. Like, you can see there's a lot you could do with a Stalker. Like, there's a lot of stuff you could do with a Stalker that could just require a lot of skill. But StarCraft was also centered around base management. I think that was a big part of it. And for me, whenever I played, I didn't feel like I was really playing StarCraft because there was so much that I didn't have to do. Really, I mean, StarCraft's a hard game. You can barely keep up. I mean, you guys all know what I'm talking about. I mean, you really have to be, bringing your A game if you're gonna, maintain the APM required and actually be performing all the tasks. But with auto mining, I mean, for me, that just seems like it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, one thing is when you do a fast expansion, while your economy's ahead, the burden that you are required to keep up with is that you have to make sure that probes from both nexuses are going to the mineral patches. It's like a skill set. I mean, it's like micro, only it's within your base. It's like another form of the game. And with MBS, I mean, honestly, I think auto mining bothers me more. MBS, I kind of don't know really what that's going to do to the meta game, especially because when you think about it, in late game in StarCraft, I mean, there's a point, maybe after 25 minutes, no, probably even less than that, where your whole tech tree's finished, and your opponent's tech tree's finished, and you might have 15 gateways, and the Terran player might have, I don't know, a lot of factories, and all of a sudden, the only thing you guys are really doing, with the exception of maybe an upgrade here or there, is going back to your base and making units, and then going into a big battle microing, and then there's some dead time. You go back and you click on all your gateways and develop your army. But I feel like with MBS, if the matchups aren't made perfectly balanced and you're only required to make a certain small number of different unit types, it seems like that would just really make the whole game run at a very slower pace. I don't know. I mean, that's my 2 cents. So in conclusion to those 2 points I made, I just really feel like they should be a setting so that, like, in tournaments, I feel like Blizzard should make it so that MBS and auto mining aren't allowed in a tournament. But I mean, if you're just like some guy who just wants to enjoy the game and you're at a LAN party with some friends, you're not a competitive player, you have every right to do that. And I mean, that would split the community, but we already have split communities in all games. We have, BGH players, we have, like I said before, we have people in all different communities. So for me, I think that's the best thing, but, I might not be right. I'll eat my words if, the game comes out and I'm wrong.
Anything to add to that, NonY?